More than half of the companies that replace workers with AI regret it. That's not a prediction. That's a finding from Forrester's 2026 Future of Work report. 55%, and it gets worse. Gartner, one of the biggest business research firms in the world, says half of the companies that cut jobs because of AI will end up rehiring for those same roles by 2027. And Robert Half, the staffing company, just published a study last month. They found that 29% of the companies already laid people off after adding AI and then hired them right back. And they're calling it AI boomerangs. 1 in 3 of those companies spent more on restaffing than they saved from the layoffs in the first place. So here's what's important if you run an agency. The pressure to cut costs with AI is real. Margins are tight. Clients are pulling back. And the temptation is obvious. Fire the junior designer, cancel the freelancer, let AI handle creative production. But the companies doing that are hitting a wall. And today I want to show you why and what the agencies with the best margins are doing instead. Before we get into what's working, let me give you a quick picture of where agency margins sit right now, because the numbers explain why people are reaching for the cut the staff button in the first place. A healthy agency nets somewhere between 15 and 20%. The top performers hit 25 to 30. That's net profit, the money left after everything is paid. But here's the part that's more interesting. Planable and SEE Ranking just released their 2026 Agency Profitability Report. They looked at 186 agencies and 21.5% of them are losing money. That's up from 13% the year before. So more agencies are going underwater. And the biggest reason is something called delivery margin. That's what's left after you pay the people doing the client work. That's our designers, your media buyers, your strategists. The target for delivery margin is 50% or higher. But agencies fall short because their teams are spending too much time on production work, building briefs from scratch, coordinating revisions, chasing assets, resizing creatives. On top of that, labor is 50 to 60% of your revenue. It's the biggest line item. So when margins get tight, of course, that's where people look first. And then there's the client side. A typeface survey of over 200 marketing leaders found that 60% are already spending less on agencies because of AI. They're pulling work in-house. So the margins are thin, clients are leaving, and your biggest cost is your team. No wonder the reflex is to cut people and plug in AI. But that reflex is wrong, and the data proves it. Okay, so here's the finding that changed how I think about this. In the same Planable report, across all 186 agencies, there was only one combination of strategies where 0 agencies were losing money. AI optimization combined with labor optimization. And here's what's interesting. The struggling agencies in the same report, they were more likely to focus on raising prices. The profitable ones focused on changing how work gets done. So what does that look like? 3 things are happening. Shift 1. AI handles production, humans handle strategy. Think about what a media buyer at an agency does in a given week. A chunk of their time goes to the stuff that moves the needle. Client calls, campaign strategy, analyzing what's working, and doubling down. But a big chunk also goes to production, writing creative briefs, waiting on designers, reviewing rounds of revisions, resizing ads for different placements. That work has to happen, but it doesn't need a human brain making strategic decisions. It needs a human brain checking that the output is right. The agencies that are winning this shift aren't firing their media buyers. They're freeing them from the production bottlenecks so they can spend more hours on the work that actually grows accounts. Gartner's 2026 data shows this playing out. Senior strategist roles at agencies are growing 18% year over year. The demand for strategic thinking is going up, not down. Meanwhile, yes, junior production roles are shrinking. 23% of agencies reduced junior copywriting headcount last year. But that's not the whole story. Those same agencies are investing more in senior roles. So the organization chart is changing. Less pyramid, more diamond. Shift 2. More creative volume means better results. This is the one nobody talks about when they discuss agency margins. If you can test 40 or 50 ad variations for a client instead of 8 or 10, your client gets better performance. More angles in the market means you find winners faster. Underperforming ads get spotted sooner. The account grows. Better results for the client means higher retention, fewer churned accounts, more referrals, bigger budgets over time. That's margin expansion through growth, not through cutting costs. And is the piece that gets lost in the AI replaces people conversation. The goal isn't to do the same work with fewer people, it's to do better work with the same people. Shift 3. The pricing model has to catch up. Here's something that trips agencies up. If AI makes your team 5 times faster but you still bill by the hour, you just cut your own revenue by 80%. That math doesn't work, and agencies are starting to figure that out. According to Gartner, 38% of US digital agencies have already moved at least one service line from hourly billing to retainer plus performance or outcome-based pricing this year. When you price based on results instead of hours, efficiency becomes your advantage. You deliver faster, your margins improve, and the client pays for the outcome, not the effort. Now, what's the catch? I don't want to make this sound like AI is a magic fix. It isn't. There are reports that Meta, TikTok, and Google are already downranking ad creative that looks obviously AI generated. So if you're just pumping out generic AI ads, the platforms are actually going to penalize you. And according to the Typeface report, 82% of marketing teams say their AI tools are stuck into the pilot phase. They can't get the test actually into production. AI tool spending has also tripled in the last 18 months. So you can throw money at AI tools and still end up with worse margins if you're not changing how the work flows. The technology matters, but it's the restructuring that makes the difference. Let me show you what this looks like in practice, because all of these numbers don't mean much until you see them play out. There's an agency in Paris called Monolith. About 40 people. They're a media buying agency and they manage huge clients that have thousands to millions of users. So these are brands where one wrong creative, one off-brand visual can damage a relationship that took years to build. They didn't fire anyone. They didn't cut their team. What they did was restructure how creative production works. They started using AdMove, the platform our team builds, across their client accounts. And here's what happened. Creative output per client went from 8 to 12 variations per month to 40 to 60. That's the same team producing 5 times the creative volume. Brief to creative turnaround went from 5 to 7 business days to under 24 hours. And 25 to 30 hours per week it moved out of production coordination and back into the media strategy for the client, the stuff that actually grows accounts. Nobody got laid off. Their team got better at what they were already good at because they stopped spending half their week on production assembly. And the result wasn't just efficiency. Their clients got more creative variations in the market, which means more testing, faster learning, better performance. That's what our co-founder Daniel said about it. The shift wasn't about doing more with less. It was going from we need to hire before we can grow to we can grow while the creative keeps pace. That's what we built AdMove for, not to replace agency teams, to remove the bottleneck that stops them from doing what they're actually good at. Research, strategy, creative direction, campaign setup. The full cycle handled by AI so your people can focus on the decisions that grow accounts. If you're running an agency and you're feeling the margin squeeze, I get it. The pressure is real, but the data is clear. Replacing your team with AI isn't the answer. Making your team faster and better with AI, that's what's actually working. I linked the Monolith case study and the other reports we mentioned down in the description box. Worth reading if it hits close to home. If you want to see more of what we're building and how agencies are using it, hit subscribe. And if your agency is dealing with this right now, tell me in the comments. How are you handling the AI transition? I don't get many, so I do read every one of them. Thanks for watching. Bye!